just wanted to make note, if you want to see some examples of some ads for Facebook specifically, if you go to facebook.com business success, and I'll do that, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of examples from different industries and different businesses for different campaign types and objectives. So this is a good place just to come in and have a bit of a browse through before you're setting up the ads, to get some inspiration or ideas. And you may find it's not really extensive, but you may find there's some things in your industry, let's say retail for example, which are quite specific and as such give you some really specific ideas for your industry. So that's facebook.com business/success. Now that brings us to, I'm going to come back to here, that brings us to trying to start formulating some ideas for our ads. So in Facebook and Instagram on the social side, what we're going to do is set up some ads around consideration at this stage of the customer journey. For the search ads, we're going to be targeting the conversion, as we've just talked about in the previous lesson. We were talking about where your customer is in the customer journey. Somebody that's demonstrating intent to purchase is further down here. They're at conversions. They're looking to convert now. For the most part, a lot of the ads that you set up on social will be more the consideration, where you're trying to drive traffic to your website, or either to purchase or just to build an audience that you can advertise into the future. And you're just taking them incrementally closer to your brand along the way. So you can think of your ads in these three layers. Now, we covered it off in more detail in the Facebook for Beginners course, but you've got three layers in Facebook ads. You've got your campaign level, which is determined by your objective. So the objective may be things like brand awareness or like reach and engagement. You've got consideration ads, which are more likely to be doing things like driving people to message you or to come to your website, so you can try and convert them on your website. That's your campaign level. The next level underneath that in any campaign is the ad set, and you can think of the ad set as an audience. So for us today, we're going to set up 2 audiences in Facebook and 2 audiences in Google. One's going to be a local one, and one's going to be to our local capital, like to our nearest capital city, to target those day trippers, the overnight stayers and stuff. Now, inside each ad set, so we've got campaign, then we've got multiple ad sets or audiences inside the campaign, and then inside each ad set or audience, there may be multiple ads. And that's because you really want to be trialing different content in those ads. You may find over time that some message is going to work better than others. And it's important to set up ads inside the different audiences as well, to test your audiences. That might be local, might be based on demographics, or it might even be based on interests. So you might go for an audience around a particular age bracket for this one, and you might go a different age bracket here, or it might be based on interests that you split it up. But in any case, it's really, really cost effective to trial ads at a really low value in Facebook. And I'm talking like $3 or something per day for a campaign or for an ad set. And to get really good insights for that data in a short period of time. You don't need to be advertising over the course of a few months to get enough data in Facebook to go, this type of message is working to this audience better than this, and this. So it's a great way to learn about your brand and your messaging as well. And of course, it's a great way to drive traffic to your website and sell stuff. So that's how to think about your layers in Facebook. In Google. In Google, we're more conversion focused, as we've been talking about. The way we set it up as a campaign, and inside that campaign, we're going to choose locations and keywords. So we're going to have a conversion campaign. It's actually a little bit different to Facebook. Google Ads Express is going to want us to set up a separate campaign, even if the objective for that campaign is the same, traffic. but they will be set up as individual campaigns. So you can think of your campaign more as your location and your keywords. So what we're going to do in Google, we're going to set up a location being Geelong in this case, or it could be your regional town. It's going to be your regional town and your nearest capital city. They're the two locations, and inside each of those we attach keywords that we're going to target. So this is what people are literally searching for on Google. So it might be things like, for this example today, it's going to be things like wine tour, winery tours, Geelong or Bellarine tours. It's going to be words like that that we're going to be targeting. But literally, when somebody's sitting there, you've got to think about what they're going to be typing in. And there's a really good tool in Google Ads, AdWords Express, to help you with that. All you need to do is have some basic ideas about how to get started with your keywords. But that's how you need to think about it in Google. The ads, think of your ads in these layers in Google, which is a little bit different to Facebook. And again, it just comes down to intent. We're not targeting people in Google based on their interests and necessarily their interests, their age, or other things of that nature, that demographic. We're actually targeting them based on their location and their keywords. In Facebook, we're targeting them on a whole gamut or a whole array potentially of interests, but it's not. We don't necessarily know their intent to buy at this time, which is different to Google. So the next step that I want to do is actually start choosing thinking about the copy and the messaging before we even jump into either of those two platforms. So before we go into the Google Ads Express or before we go into Facebook ads, let's first have a think about the what we actually want to say to which audiences. And there's a few techniques that I want to use to help gather some inspiration and some ideas. It's certainly not to plagiarize, but there's a few keywords that we might be able to grab from some places just to get us started with some ideas. So that's in our next lesson. So hold on to your hats. That's going to be a fun one, and it's going to give you a really good idea about how to start constructing your messages without it getting too complicated. So join me again for that lesson.